Can I have everybody's attention? Can we get everybody to please stand for the flag salute, please? It's not going to be spotty this time. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Randy, you're going to sing the national anthem?
No.
Joseph, would you like to?
I couldn't.
Let's pray, but any of you, whoever might be speaking tonight, you need to use this because we're recording it so we can post it on our YouTube channel. Let's pray. Loving God, thank you that we are able to gather here tonight. It's such a blessing to see each other's faces. We ask that tonight you would help us encourage one another, learn from one another, and do whatever we can to make our shops, businesses, more of a blessing to our community. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, everybody be seated.
No, my leg says.
Okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to have the mic around the room and everybody give a quick introduction of who you are, what you do a little bit, like Nolan, who's the CPA, Randy. And so you'll see how it's done for the new people here.
Norman Blyden, I'm a CPA and business broker. We do monthly financials, payroll and taxes, and we also help clients sell businesses and also buy businesses.
Mike Pedrosa from Lex Tech in Pasadena.
Anto from Jerry's Auto Repair and Body in Pasadena, first visit.
Glenn Davis from GDA Enterprises in Upland.
Good evening. My name is Tim Shakarian from Beamer PhD Motorsports here in Pasadena, and my lovely wife, Johanna. I've been an ASCCA member for about 6 years, and I'm your chapter representative to the state.
And vice president.
And vice president. So thanks for coming, everybody, and looking forward to seeing everybody in a great meeting.
Hey everyone, my name is Gary. I'm from House Automotive here in Pasadena. I'm a service advisor and it's my first time here.
My name is Greg. I'm the Director of Operations of House in Pasadena.
Hello, I'm Tom Simone, owner of Crown City Tire, right down the street over here. Not my first meeting, but first live meeting, so I'm excited to see everyone in person.
John Longo, I'm a service writer at North Hollywood Auto Repair.
Dan Brown, North Hollywood Auto Repair.
My name is Larry Rather. I have a shop, Larry's Union Service. This is my lovely lady, Jack.
Well, she's my lovely lady, Jackie. I was saying. I'm Shannon Derry with Digital Financial Group. I'm your credit card processor in the group.
Good evening. My name is Steve Tamori, full-time professor at Rihanna College, and representing education for the Chapter 5. It doesn't say Foothill anymore, so it's St. Gabriel, San Francisco, or still Foothill chapter? Okay. Also, my dean wanted to mention we have an opening for a full-time position that would start about a year from now. So if anybody's interested, contact.
Placing you,
right? We'll see.
Give me an application. Greg Love from Citrus College, and letting you guys know that we are going to do a smog update course this fall sometime. So if you're interested, send a word out, let me know, and we'll get you guys into the smog update. We're going to try it again. And I'm here from PCC. I'm here from Citrus, so we're welcome for education. If you guys need a mechanic, any three of us can get you a tech fairly quickly, right? Wendy can get you a tech really quickly. Wendy can. I would just make promises I can't keep. So.
Good evening. It's wonderful to see everybody in person. My name is Gene Morrill, certified auto specialist at Glendora. I've been a member since 1984. I'm one of the old guys, so if you want to know what this thing's all about, call me, see me, we'll go do lunch, whatever. I'm also your Education Foundation board member, Government Affairs board member, and a chapter board member. So a lot of things going on, a lot of folks here. Kirk probably recognize the board members, but we have a lot going on. We'd love for you to move up a little bit when you're comfortable and join our board and help us out. This organization is the reason I can go to Flagstaff for 10 days and not worry about my company. So if you want to have that someday, then, get to know these guys.
Sure, I have to follow him with all of that. My name is Steve Lemna. I'm with Garage Gurus, who most of you have probably never heard of, but we're the training end of a company called Drive, who is Tenneco and Federal Mogul, who mix together. My background a little bit, I'm a fully certified master tech as well for automotive as well as heavy duty truck. We do a lot of training, and I come and visit all of you guys in your stores. We can do all sorts of things like lunch and learns. We've got 3-hour trainings. We've got full training at our training center down in Van Nuys. So this is my first time here, and I appreciate the opportunity to come and stand before you guys and introduce myself.
Good evening. My name is Gary Paparian. I own Bassard's All Pro Automotive in Los Angeles, and this is my lovely wife, Ani.
Nice to see all of you guys here. Anyway, this is VJ from VJ's Auto Service, Arcadia, California. Raul from Raul's Auto Repair in Azusa.
Good evening, John Smaldon from American Dollar Works in Pasadena. Hey, Randy. Who said there's some text flying around that we need to? Okay, I'll talk to you afterwards. I could use an extra real tech. Here you go, Wendy.
Wendy Luco from PCC, senior instructor, literally in age and in tenure. Glad to be here face to face. I've been part of ASCCA, I think, since like 2000 when we used to meet at worksite for training. So I've known several of the guys for a long time. But glad we're back face to face and doing the work.
John with Mitchell One. First in-person meeting, thanks to Tim joined. I think this is maybe my first or second month as an actual member. Just look forward to learning a lot from you guys. It's really cool to have seen. It's nice that I think the biggest thing that attracted me was that the people that are here are the shops that you want to emulate. So thanks, love learning.
Hello, I'm Javier with Joe's Garage in Alhambra at the old Kirchup building.
It's great to be back and see everybody. This is Joe from Mark Christopher, also Department. If you need me, give me a call. All G departments.
Last but not least, Randy Lewis, Jasper Engine Transmissions. I've also been on the board, I believe it's been 13 years now on the ASCCA board. So thank you all for coming. I'm so happy to see everybody in person. This is so nice. You guys have a good night.
And Wendy from PCC, she's also, if anybody that read the newsletter, she's featured for the Woman in Automotive, and we want to give her a hand. We also want to thank the three educators for being here tonight. You're not taking time off to come in here and help in the organization and us working together with you. Thank you guys for taking time. Okay, moving on. Next, we have Gene. Are you ready, Gene, to give a report?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Gene.
All right. As I stated earlier, I am on the Government Affairs Committee. We have about 20 people throughout the state.
Here you go. Now you're in the camera.
They get to see my back?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's your best side.
Thanks a lot. Well, we have about 20 folks, shop owners. We have our lobbyist and lawyer, Jack Maladano, who leads the group. By the way, you get 30 free minutes of legal advice, whether it's you, your employee, if you're a member. And I use them periodically when things come up or my employees have questions, so it's a great benefit to have. Not a ton going on right now. We're tracking about 25 different laws that are in different stages of passing, being turned into 2-year bills or whatever. Remember, our legislators have the ability every 2 years to propose 5,600 bills. Fortunate for us, during COVID, they kind of kept it down to about 3,000. So, and among those, there's a lot of automotive bills and non-automotive bills that affect us. So that's what your committee does for you, and you don't even know it. You're in beds, Zing away, and we're trying to make sure you don't get hosed by a tax or a regulation or a bill that is, creeping up the tailpipe. So even if that's one of the reasons we need more members, and we would appreciate more members, because we pay our lobbyist that lives in Sacramento and takes care of all that. One of the crazy things right now, of course, and I don't want to go into it, but everybody knows that the COVID laws, bills, OSHA is changing on a daily basis. So if you're not keeping up on that, then ask somebody if you're not sure where we need to be on that. There's a ton of stuff going on. The biggest thing that's going on is a bill, AB 471. And what that is going to do, it's actually spearheaded by the Parts Association. They're trying to get California to do a safety inspection on cars. That would be fantastic for us, of course, because every car would have to have yearly, bi-yearly, like a smog check, safety inspection. They're doing this through right now, and it's moving up the chain very quickly, being passed for salvage vehicles only. So right now, when you buy a salvage vehicle, you just need a brake and lamp, right? Well, if this bill passes, you're going to need safety inspection, airbags, a lot of functionality to go with that. So you may want to consider getting your brake and lamp license tuned up or getting it for the first time, because that, if this passes, this is going to be something that may be a revenue generator for you at some point. So once we get it done for the salvage vehicles, now we have what's called the camel's nose under the tent. Once, you know what happens, right? Once the camel nose goes under the tent, what happens? The rest of the camel will go with it. And the rest of the camel will be everybody having to do some kind of a safety inspection. We're not sure what that looks like yet, but we're really excited that, Assemblyman Lowe is standing behind this. And within the bill, it's a huge all-encompassing bill that if you do get citation from the bar or something goes sideways, you'll have the opportunity to do, for lack of a better term, a traffic school, to do a class, and it will never show up on your record. So, it is a really good bill that we're really working hard to do. Also, I sent out an email that, help me out, Glenn, the bar, what was the email? I just drew a blank. Well, they're having a workshop, I'm sorry. There's a BAR workshop coming up next week that you can zoom into on the site and find, and some other things. So Glenn's also on the Government Affairs Committee, and you're welcome to sit in if you just want to see what's going on. Let us know if you want to do that. So with that, I'll shut up. And if you haven't, it's really important, though, to know who your assembly person and your senator is. Most of the people that are along the foothills, that's Senator Portantino, and super nice guy. We've actually gone to his office. We've taken a bunch of people, sat in his office, and lobbied for some bills. So it's really important. So if you wouldn't mind just typing in who's your legislature, write down a piece of paper and memorize it. So when we need you, you know who to call. So with that, I'll be quiet. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gene, for all you do.
Well, one other thing, Kurt. And while I'm up here, the Educational Foundation is always looking for cars to donate. If you're on, you get the newsletter from the state. They did a little video on how to donate cars. Last year, we did $15,000 worth of scholarships. Citrus got some, Rio Hondo. Wendy was lagging this year, so we got to beat her up for next year.
I read all of it.
So I know, but where were your students? Okay, so.
I'm not gonna afford it.
Okay. So if you have young people, apprentices that want to apply for the scholarships, they're all available starting in March every year. So, yes.
Is legislature live?
They're doing a virtual, that's coming up.
Yeah.
I think next month sometime.
Yeah.
Or the end of this month.
Sam, when's lunch day? Week.
It's actually in August.
Okay, August. So next month, so.
They're trying to figure out how to make a virtual ledge day work.
Yeah, it's in a clunky stage right now, but they're working really hard to make it happen. So watch your emails and sign up if you want to be a part of that. So, thank you.
Yeah, Jack had a Zoom meeting on the ledge day thing that just came up 2 weeks ago. And no, I'm not gonna pop in Thursday. Tim,
Sir.
would you like to give a chapter rep report?
All right, there's a lot.
He wants you to talk in this.
Welcome, everybody. There's a lot going on the state level, so I really encourage every shop owner that's here today, take a moment, go to ASCCA.com on the website. There's a lot of information that you can benefit from. I think one of the important things to kind of discuss is our mission statement for the Automotive Service Council is to provide business resources for our members to advance professionalism in the automotive repair industry. And some of our core purposes are like what we've heard Rocky say over the many years, to elevate, unite automotive professionals and give them voice. And that's really what we're doing tonight is we're bringing our association together, the good, the bad, the ugly, and kind of figuring out what we can do to advance so that we have a future. Our core values are really about integrity, compassion, professionalism, and unity. And that's really what we're displaying today. So the state strategies are long range. We're obviously looking to expand our membership by 10%. Government affairs is a very, very important part of what we do. Bureau of Automotive Repair dictates how we write repair orders, how we get estimates, how we gain authorizations. For those of you that went to the last team weekend, Carolyn gave a really, really good presentation on how the electronic authorization is really affecting us and how it's evolved over time from us just obtaining that, yep, you give me authorization, yep, I write down who your name is and the phone number is and what you called me and the time. Now these are done a lot more electronically. So I urge you to go to Team Talk and see if you can find that, specifically that one that Carolyn put up that was in regards to electronic authorization on the last team weekend. It was really awesome. And if you have a hard time getting it, please let me know. Send me an email. It's really easy, bmwphd@gmail.com, and I will forward it on over. You can also talk to any one of the board members, and we point you in the right direction. Some changes in the state. Obviously, we haven't seen each other, so we have a new president on the state board, which is Rory Balmer from Twin Peaks Automotive. So he's from Chapter 12. So he's in thank you, Chapter 14. So we're looking to see some of the improvements that Rory is doing to our association. Our vice president is Carolyn Cocolette from Luscious Garage and also Chapter 21. If you haven't heard about Carolyn, she's really awesome. Her shop does mainly hybrid and electric cars, and she's also CEO of Shopware, which is an online shop management system. So these are some of the changes that has transpired in the last year or so. For those of you, and I think Craig was there at the last team weekend, which was really cool. Right now it's still virtual. I know some of us like to meet in person, but being able to tap into the resources that we're getting, the training that we're getting online, that's why I encourage you to go to ASCCA.com. There's a couple of committees that and the chapter reps kind of go over and make sure that, everything is kosher, keeping things in line. The ASCCA5 is very important. John Epstein is our chair for that. It's really important that if you do have cars that are laying around, that you do donate them or help the customers see the donation, because those proceeds go to advancing students that are trying to get into our industry. And one of the benefits of that, I think, Gary, you were part of a scholarship that you had gotten from the IGO, which was our independent garage owners. So right here in our very own backyard, we have a beneficiary of that. So, and he's a shop owner today and helping technicians. So we can really see how these programs benefit us, but you got to get involved. I can't emphasize that enough. The Educational Training Information, the ETI Association, is working really hard. Most of the persons in 2020 where we're not able to meet in person, we had a lot of cancellations, some disappointments. We missed some opportunities to do some training, but 14 leading automotive industry organizations, including ASCCA, have put together a really good program that's going to be coming out in December in person, and that's called PAVE. And PAVE stands for Professional Automotive Virtual Education. So if you were really busy in the shop putting your nose to the grindstone, as it were, like I was, every once in a while we come up for air and see the benefit of these virtual trainings. If you haven't benefited from it, go to the website and take advantage of it. Again, I can't emphasize enough on the Government Affairs Committee. There's a lot of bills that are going around, and Gene does an excellent job of keeping us abreast with it, as well as Craig Johnson. So if you have questions, see the board members, and we'd love to share more information or put you in touch with the right channels that can properly explain it, perhaps better than we can. NASTAF. If Craig was here, he would tell you about our NASTAF. NASTAF is very important. It's National Automotive Traffic Transportation Service Technicians.
It's the task force. It's the task force that allows us to have all of the information from the manufacturers, gives us the codes, gives us a place to complain if a manufacturer won't give us anything, and has been implemented or pivotal in the right to repair going nationwide.
Thank you, Glenn. A lot of this information over the years, if you're new, kind of just goes over your head. You're like, wow, that's really good information. That's kind of how it was when I was new. And it's not until that I got involved on the board and started going to more team weekends that I started understanding what these things mean. And just like you and I, just like you, I have a shop to run as well. So I love doing this. It's a wealth of information. But getting everybody involved, John, you've been a really fire for Chapter 5. Trying to figure it out, bringing Mitchell wanted information to the table. So we really appreciate team camaraderie like that. So again, there's a lot of things going on in the state. If you haven't gone to the website, please go ahead and do so. One last point that I want to bring out, and we've been doing this here in our chapter, is membership, the growth of membership. How do we grow how do we get involved with the membership committee so that we can not only grow more members, but we don't lose any more members? So the membership committee has put together a survey that I have on the table for new members, but those of us that have been around for a little while, we probably haven't even seen that. So I've got 10 copies on the table. Please take one, fill it out, and get it back to any one of the board members. If you want to get it back to me or to Joseph, we'll follow up on it. It's basically ways that the state is trying to figure out, or helping us, how we can improve our membership. What do we want to see by our feedback? So feedback is very important, not only to your businesses, but also to the state and to my business as well, so we can figure out what we did right and expand upon that, and what we did wrong to correct that, so they can put us in line with the direction that we're going. So there is a new member survey. I know we have a little bit more information on that. Glenn's going to be discussing it later on. There is another packet that the membership committee is working on, and that's the pass on the shelf. We sell the shelf. I don't call it an escape plan, but succession. Thank you. So a succession plan, because now we realize a lot of the shop owners are now older. Succession, like to succeed and pass on the business to somebody else that's young and willing to pass the torch like Dan. Escape room. Then you'll end up back in the garage fixing cars anyways. So, the idea is, we have a lot of shops that are being sold. Colleen couldn't make it here today. Colleen Gardner from Mark's Garage was also a beneficiary of a succession plan. So we're kind of looking at it now as the intelligent and skilled technicians are moving on to the next chapter in their lives. Are they passing that information to us young folks like Anto and John, Thomas, Greg, all the new folk, John, Dan, myself, that are going to pass this torch? We need valuable information that Gene passes on to us that sometimes goes over our head, and we need to really listen to those things, because honestly, I don't want to die under the hood of a car. So I want to learn how I can go ahead and build a proper, successful business that I have definitely done with the aid of the Automotive Service Council, and learn from you folks as well. I know I'm the guy that's always fired up about it, but I need more people fired up with me so we can have a better voice. Our shops, particularly, Johanna and I have worked real closely with Wendy and PCC, and we've successfully seen technicians graduate from that program and make it into successful technicians that want to learn. So when you guys say looking for techs, you're gonna have to look at your processes and see, are you building a successful plan to have those technicians that come out of school that grow as technicians? Because the 40-year-old, 60-year-old doesn't want to be a technician anymore. I'm 46 years old. I love doing this, and I want to keep doing this. I am a little crazy, but we're all crazy. I mean, there's a fine line between crazy and genius, and here we are. So from the chapters rep part of things, the state is growing. If you want to find out what's going on, it's kind of, you have to plug into the matrix, as it were. So please take a moment. And for those of you that are new, that are visiting, go to the website and see what the human resources aspect can benefit your business and how you can put into it, as it were, so there is something for us to take out of it. That's really important. That's all that I've got from the chapter reps side of things. I'm really enjoying the things that I'm learning. And I know Ani popped in, and Gary on the last team weekend. The government affairs part of it was awesome. It was really good to see all of the legal things that we need to know. I think David Fisher from California Employer Services did a really good job of presenting how to navigate through this minutia of information. So I think it was very good. If you got involved, great, you benefited from it. If you missed out, that's okay. There's more coming, because we re-emphasize it again. And this was what we want, is we want the members to benefit from it. If you guys aren't benefiting from it, like I have, see me, I'll turn the fire up under you. We can go ahead and do it. Thank you for Garage Gurus that came today. Hopefully we'll get to see your presentation in the next coming months. As far as programs go, transitioning to programs is in the work right now, because we're trying to figure out how would Mohari's go, meeting live in person, how will the virtual ones go. I've really, really enjoyed the virtual ones, because I didn't even have to leave. My shop is right there. Just zoom in and you can get the information that you need. But I've really missed shaking hands and seeing you guys, so this is really cool. This is going to be kind of a precedence as to how we go into the future, where we're going to be doing somewhat recording or a little bit of hybrid of both. So bear with us as we transition to this. If you have ideas, please bring them to the table. We want to hear from you guys. And not only do we want to hear from you guys, we want you guys to join some of the committees. It's not scary. Very, very interesting. Government Affairs Committee right now is very important, and there's a lot of regulation that's come in that if we don't know is going to put us into a small square. How we respond to it is the information that we have, and how many people are going to the state and say, yeah, I agree. So anyways, as far as the programs go, we're going to be making some transitions here in the next couple of months. We'll see how things go. I know I've gotten a lot of feedback from folks that said, hey, if you need programs, please reach out and let me know. I'd really also like to hear from the members. What do you guys want to see and hear more of? So I can put together programs that you guys are going to benefit from, and you'll encourage each other. So everybody go back home and think of 2 people that are shop owners that you know and say, hey, you really missed an awesome program. And that's really what we're trying to do, is not lose any of our members because we got complacent or because we got tired or because we forgot to call a certain person. So you know somebody that's not here and they're on your text list or they're a good friend, let them know what they missed this weekend or this evening, as it were. And I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be sharing good, bad, and experiences with you guys. So a couple of the things that I was thinking about we can discuss this evening. I don't know how we're going to go into, but I really enjoyed being part of the WorldPAC Smart Groups. And in that, I've learned a couple of really cool things.
We'll do this thing, we'll get back to the meeting part.
Excellent. So that's my line. Now on to Glenn Davis, who's going to do membership.
Thanks, Tim. You guys feel it right now? Are you sensing something that's kind of special? Everybody who walked in this room has it, they felt it, they understand it. I like to say that it's the ASCCA advantage. I first learned it at my first Chapter 5 meeting back in 1984. It's that thing that holds us and bonds us all together. I became the membership committee chair about 3 months ago, and I wanted to take that mindset to the next level in Chapter 5. I've always believed that the strongest thing that we have that holds us together and keeps us bonded is the fact that we are shop owners helping shop owners. And so I convinced the board that we need to create a whole mentality in Chapter 5 that really emphasizes that culture, shop owners helping shop owners. I can't tell you how it changed my life in that first meeting when I was 23 years old, coming in and talking to guys that had been in the business for 20 and 30 years. But it's more than that. Right now, we're working in the membership committee. We've created a new logo for the chapter. If everybody sees it, this is going to be our starting point. This work product here is the beginning of a new membership committee pamphlet that we're going to start going out to shops and trying to recruit people. But it's more of a mindset. We want to look at the whole thing. Not only do we want new members, but we want to make sure that your membership is the most valuable tool that you have in your office. There is no place else that you could go other than Chapter 5 to learn everything about government affairs, education and training, tools and equipment, the thousands of years of experience that Chapter 5 members have and freely share with each other. Some things we're going to be doing in the coming months, hopefully. If I don't move too fast, but we want to start creating a marketing campaign for Chapter 5 members. We want to be able to go out to the motoring public and tell them why they need to start doing business with Chapter 5 members. We're going to create a whole sales campaign around belonging to Chapter 5. I want to have signs made for our shops having this logo. We're going to do some community outreach. We're going to do some social media participations, all those kinds of things. We want to make sure that your membership in ASCCA Chapter 5 is the most valuable thing you have in your office. The board is working exceptionally hard at this. Kirk has put everybody to this task and has made sure that every board member knows that we're here for shop owners helping shop owners. And we're going to be showing you that step by step in the next coming months. You're going to be able to bring your friends. We're going to be able to show them how their membership is going to enhance all of us, because without members, we have no voice in Sacramento. Without members, we have no voice when it comes to vendors. If we have no voice, we don't have education and training. We don't have the resources we need as an individual shop owner to be able to do this. And the membership committee is going to bring all of this out and enhance it and really make it special for everybody. So thank you very much for attending, everybody. It's great that Chapter 5 is, we were talking about, Tim was talking about the membership committee on the state level. They don't have any idea what we're doing right now. Chapter 5 has always been the road
chapter in this association. They've always been on the forefront, been out front, and has always lead the way, and we're going to continue to do so from here on out.
So 10% is what we want to grow. What is your base?
We're gonna take our idea and we're gonna blow their goals out of the water. Well, through this campaign, I would like to say we can probably get 15 to 20. We have what, I believe 86 members, 89 members right now in this chapter. So, yeah.
You see a decline or an incline? Yeah.
Well, I see a lot of different changes in how people meet, how people congregate. You know, back in the old days, in 1984, when I first became a member, membership was, you know, it came from the generation that came out of World War II, came out of Korean War generation. They were very socially integrated. They went to Lions Club meetings, Rotary meetings, different facilities. And so they were really bound to these types of meetings. Over the years, though, our industry has changed. You know, the cultural differences, the ethnic differences that are in this association, in this industry now, are nowhere near where they were 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 70 years ago, 1940, when we first started out. So we've got to acknowledge that as an organization and start looking at those shop owners that don't look like me. Okay, we have to understand the cultural differences, how people meet, how people congregate, what makes it special, what's going to make them want to join. And I've done a lot of research on this because I was on the state board, I was the state president, and I've spent a lot of time researching this stuff. I created a chapter in the inner city of LA that was 100% African American, and I was the guy who did it. So I understand that kind of stuff, and I understand the challenges we have with the different cultures and them joining groups. Because where they come from their countries, they didn't join groups. If you joined a group, you might be visited by a government official or something. They're just not joiners. And so we got to figure out how to make them want to get past that and learn that, you know, I've always believed in my life that ASCCA and Chapter 5 is not an organization of great shops. ASCCA in Chapter 5 is an organization that creates great shops. And we all started somewhere. And we were all not at the point we are right now. And so I want to find those second tier, third tier shops that need a hand up so that we can give them a handout so that they can eventually come up to this point and be able to talk about their experiences, their successes, their life story, and pass it on to the next generation. So I'm really looking forward to working with people in the chapter so that we can do this. Randy has already invited me to hop in his car, and we're going to start going to shops once we get the membership flyer done. And we're going to go into different places. I would love to have anybody who speaks another language go with us, because I don't know Spanish, I don't know Korean, Vietnamese, I don't know Farsi, I don't know any of those things. Armenian too, I don't care. As my Guatemalan League Tech College says, I'm a honky. So, so and that's all I know how to speak, but I would love to have people that go with us who understand what we're trying to do so we can speak in the language that's most comfortable to them and really make them understand that ASCCA is all inclusive and it's something that we can all benefit from and grow from.
So what's the actual data?
What's
the actual data you have
for membership wise? Well, the state roughly has about 380 regular members as shop owners. They have close to about 600 when you talk about the vendors and the educated members and all of those other kinds of things. We've seen a cultural shift as well as a generational shift. All of the baby boomers, a lot of us in this room that have lots of gray hair, we're all getting to that age where people are starting to retire, they're dying, some of them are selling their shops off to other people. We've got to find a way to bridge, to get past that generational change in the auto repair business. We've got to be able to reach out to the younger folks and get them to understand. They need to feel that feeling I had in 1984 when I came to my first ASCC meeting at 23 years old. And it's my job at this point as your membership committee chair to try to bring that out and then sell it to the shop owners in the various areas of Chapter 5. That is my mission, and the board is all on board with it. I've got a great membership committee that's working with me, that's creating all of this stuff, and we will start seeing numbers very soon as we start rolling it out.
And our goal is for everybody to join a committee of some sort. If legal interests you, join the government affairs committee. Membership interests you, follow one along.
I can't tell members of Chapter 5, there is nobody else in this, there's maybe one, in this state, in any of the chapters, that knows more about government affairs and the things that affect your business than Gene does. Gene is tied into every single email list in the state, in the county, in the cities, and when he knows about it, he gives you guys all the information. I'm in the restaurant business nowadays, and I got to tell you, the restaurant business and the auto repair business are very similar when it comes to rules, regulations, and all of that kind of stuff. And ASCCA has one of the very best government affairs committees anywhere in any industry, and we're incredibly fortunate that Gene takes on that effort to put it all together and put it in a concise manner that we can read it, understand it, and know which hot button issues it is. Craig does a fantastic job with NASDF. Like I said, it was the group that ASCCA was a founding member of NASDF. We were the ones that helped create that organization, and that was because ASCCA was the first ones to fight for right to repair and your ability to repair vehicles. And so by being able to do that, then we were able to force the manufacturers to give up their repair information first on emissions, then key security information. We would not be able to reprogram keys and key fobs right now if ASCCA hadn't fought in Sacramento to defeat the BMW key fob regulations. They were going to let the manufacturers have complete monopoly on being able to reprogram keys. We fought that. There's a long list of things, right to repair, Trevor Law Group, leach oil, and all of these things. None of us would be in business right now if ASCCA didn't do these things for you guys. None of us in this room would be able to do it by ourselves. There's just too much of it. And so you guys are incredibly fortunate. I know if you sit down and think about it, you know what that ASCCA advantage means to each of you. I want you to embrace it. I want you to tell your fellow shop owners. If any of them have an interest in that, please let us know. We'll be happy to go out and visit them, talk to them, invite them to a meeting, and then it's up to you guys to seal the deal. Because it's what happens in this room, it's what happens in our newsletter, it's what keeps people coming back, and what has made Chapter 5 the longest running, biggest chapter. It was the biggest chapter of the state even when I first started out. It's always been that way. It's always been a trailblazer. It's always led the way in the state, and it's all because of you guys. So thank you.
And as far as the state, they do know what we're doing now, Glenn, after the newsletter went out. We've started getting responses from the state, huh, Joseph? Yeah. So I don't know if you team talk there. It's already started with what we're doing. A lot of the other chapters like what we're doing. They're starting to ask questions. They want to start following our footsteps. So that's a good thing. You know, we've already got it in motion, and they're asking what we're doing. They're getting involved, figuring out what we're doing as a chapter. So, you know, good job, everybody. Now, as far as anything else, Tim, You wanna help me, what's going on? You said yes,
Well, I think what we wanted to do was kind of bring it to an open forum to our members. And we want to kind of hear your bad stories and your good stories. So some of the things that I really enjoyed participating in some of the electronic trainings were, what were some of the challenges that you faced during the last year? And how did you use ASCCA to overcome those challenges? And it's kind of like a on-the-spot question, but Wendy's got her hand up. So the questions are, what are the challenges that you faced? And how did you use ASCCA resources to help you overcome those? So think about those as you're hearing some of the answers. Wendy?
Well, I was able to come back to teach live classes in the fall and not be closed down for over 2 months. So I used our advisory information and the fact that we were essential. So when the team talk went around with the whole LA County and it said on that one page that we were essential, highlighted that, highlighted all the shops in our areas that were open, reminded the faculty and the administrators where they go to get their cars repaired, and that we need to feed technicians. And the labor market and the data that you guys would email me, we're looking for a tech, we're looking for a tech, all that went in that file to the VP with my proposal, and we were able to teach September 1st. So that helped us get the whole school back. Now as of today, we're totally open. So, the advisory, having good and strong advisory, but, any of the COVID protocol that was coming through you guys, we adopted. The NADA protocol adopted, besides the CDC. So it just helped to have the information available and just the ability to pick up a phone and ask questions. How are you doing this? What happens with this? How are you dealing with employees that are out? Because it's the same thing with students. How long, how do we quarantine? Where are we cleaning? How extensive? All that kind of stuff. So that was my huge hurdle. It helped that you guys like going virtual for advisory meetings too.
Thank you, Wendy.
Anybody else?
One quick question. How many people before this all happened knew what Zoom was?
The question is, how many people before all this happened knew what Zoom was?
Now, everybody knows what Zoom is. Yeah. Oh. I don't know anybody now that has not Zoom. And before this, I don't know anybody that.
Well, I talk about our lawyer. He really came in handy for us. We also own a rental car company that's within our main company for our customers to rent cars. Knock on the door, guy comes in, you've been served, $750,000 lawsuit. Crap. What do we do? Call up Jack Molodanoff, looked at it, advised me we were wrongfully named in a lawsuit that was supposed to be up in Bakersfield, but we had a court date to go in March, so we couldn't ignore it. And Jack counseled me through, and we got a hold of a lawyer, we called them, took pictures, they finally realized it was the wrong company, but it still took me hours of time and it was Larry H. Parker. So, so it was very handy for me, and the cost to me was zero because I was a member of ASCCA. So,
Called an attorney for zero?
I talked to an attorney for well over the half an hour allotted time, and it cost me zero. So, and I know, Ani can tell you that's probably a $500 phone call easily to get that kind of advice. So it is a great advantage and doesn't happen very often. And when it does, you have backup and you have a good person. And if he doesn't know, he can direct you to somebody that will know. So, thank you.
Anybody else?
Hello, everybody. I'm Ani. I'm Gary's wife. Two things. Mr. Molodanoff assisted us on a specific issue that we had about 2 years ago, I believe. I had some questions that I needed to ask, and I'm an attorney myself, but I don't do specifically this regulatory area that controls the bar and those types of issues, which I needed his assistance with, because there's special lingo, special procedures that you need to follow for that. And he was very, very polite, compliant, and answered all my questions. Very courteous. Secondly, do you guys all remember when the SBA PPP funds and the EIDLs were being issued and the applications were going out? And nobody knew what they were doing, right? So I think my husband spent, I don't know how many hours trying to figure that out. I spent a month researching it every day. And then I think Dean and I were on the phone for I don't know how long. And then Gary was on the phone with VJ. And we were trying to figure out how to do it and how to handle it. And then we went through it and went through all the computations and all the different financial aspect, all the calculations, trying to figure out what the terms mean because the definitions were not listed. So that's the benefit that my husband has seen and I have actually seen from the association and the membership. And that in of itself, I'm a member of various bar organizations here in Pasadena, LA, and the Armenian Bar and the San Gabriel Bar and the Beverly Hills Bar. That's the benefit of being part of an organization where you have access to somebody and you can call them up on the phone and say, I need help with this specific sticking point. How am I supposed to handle it? And if it's a good enough organization, you'll get good responses. And over the years, you've been a godsend to my husband, and I appreciate that. And so are you. And no, of course you would. You always disagree. Yeah, because he tells you to be more involved. And you have been a godsend as well. And so have you. He always talks about you too.
Well, you know what? I think we wouldn't be able to do this without our associate vendors or our partner vendors. And I really want to give recognition to that because Norm, Shannon, I mean, it's one phone call away. One phone call away for a question that I can't tell you how many times a month people come in and, hey, I can save you so much money on a credit card. I don't care. Because when I have a question, I text Shannon and she gets back to me within minutes. And I have a solution to my problem. Norm, you do our taxes. And I'm only using this as an example for us. So if you have other examples, please do share them because it's nice to be able to add to that. We had some glitches during COVID that we called government officials. We couldn't get an answer from them. We couldn't get an answer for that. If it wasn't for the association and the people that we know through the association, government affairs has been huge for learning curve for myself and my wife. David Kuza and many of the people that are on that have always helped us with that. We were able to get whatever issue that we had with the legal system reinstated all through the fact that when we tried to call the government officials, sorry, we're on COVID. Everything's COVID. COVID this, COVID that, COVID. How do we solve a problem for the remainder of us that are actually working, that are going through all the minutia of filing through wearing masks and cleaning and 16 times a day the counters have been wiped and the cars have been detailed. We've actually made video processes to the staff to be able to train them on how you do a disinfectant. And we can present that information to the customers so that they have peace of mind of knowing your car off, you're not going to die. It's not scary. We're the same people that were servicing your car just a couple of months ago. There's just new rules and regulations. So I really appreciate that, and I got to give it to our associate vendors. So can you please take a moment and tell us what you do for our chapter and how many folks in our chapter are using Shannon? That's awesome. And that's what we want to do. That's the purpose of the association, is so that they're here to help us and we're here to help them advance their businesses as well. So can you take a moment and tell us what you do in your business and how it will help our members?
I'm Shannon, I'm your credit card processor, and I gotta tell you, boy, I'm so glad I went into automotive instead of restaurants and gyms and all the non-essential businesses. So you guys actually saved our entire business. So thank you, thank you, thank you. But we spent a lot of time, well, we've been with the ASCCA now since I think about 2008. So we have special rates for all the ASCCA members. We do pay you $350 rebate towards your dues every December. We come by and give you a check and our Santa hats and drop off the check. But, you know, it's not just about money. We know that. And when people first start a business, they're taking credit cards. I think it's just, you swipe it, you get your money, no problem. But sometimes there is a problem. Sometimes your money gets held. I get those phone calls a lot. You put through a $20,000 sale when you usually do 400, and they hold your money. I'll get it for you. You know, stuff like that. I'll help people fight chargebacks. You may not get it that many, but when you get one, you want to word it right when you're fighting it. So I try to help the shops as much as I can, and I know the industry. Before this, I was an enterprise for 13 years, so I know all the lingo to send to the chargeback department to help them understand. So we help with that. For the past year since COVID, we've mostly been setting people up with contactless technologies. We're all trying to not touch anything, and so we set it up so that you can email or text your customer an invoice. Johanna, did you get that done? You set up? So
Accountability partner.
yeah. So you just text your customer a bill, an invoice. They can just click on their phones. Everybody, like Glenn was saying, everything's different. Technology has separated us and brought us together, both. It's a curse and a blessing. So we try to, you know, bridge that gap between people that want to do everything with technology or they want to be there. They can do it either way. So we have like contactless technologies. And it's funny because I'm competing with probably 10 phone calls a day. I know how many phone calls you guys get. I can lower your rates. How do you know? That's like saying I can lower your car insurance rates without looking at the, you know, benefits and stuff. So, but, you know, even if somebody can lower your rates, how long are they going to lower it for? How much are they really going to lower it? And are they going to be there in 10 or 15 years or 2 years? So I've been in this business since 2006, not going anywhere. My daughter's going to take over eventually that's my succession plan. So I get to escape in 20 years. So anyway, that's really it. I guess I'm really thrilled to be here. I go to chapters all over the state, Northern California, Southern California, and the people of this chapter, I'm preaching to the choir, but your philosophies are so aligned with David and mine. And that's why we're here. We're not here just to get auto shop business. I mean, could have done gyms or restaurants. We came here because we like you guys. We like what you believe in. We like your charity. We like your philosophies. And we like how you treat your customers. So we do the same for you. And I appreciate you guys welcoming us every single year, every single day.
John from Mitchell and Joe, right? So why don't we take?
What about Randy from Jasper?
Raspy.
Randy can't stand up, so he can't talk.
Well, I can't tell you, and Jean has been a proponent of monthly financial statements for as long as I know, but monthly financials are absolutely critical. Like, yeah, when COVID hit, most of us didn't know what was going to happen over the next year. But even the PPP money, the payroll protection advance money that was given out and became non-taxable, if you've got a handle on the numbers, it was easy to apply for these loans. And it could be done very quickly. And then some people, I have one restaurant client, we do his taxes, someone does his bookkeeping, another person does the payroll, and you need all of the information to submit to get an advance on the PPP money. To this day, we haven't been able to get the information to apply for anything. Some of my clients, we managed to get up to 300,000 in the PPP money. And if you have monthly financials and you can see where you're going, most of my clients didn't even need the PPP money. It was just a bonus. And I'd say most of my clients in last year made more money, probably by about 25% more than the previous year. I was lucky to be having so many clients that made money. I mean, if an accounting office is relying, say, for instance, on high-end dining restaurants, they were in trouble. but most of my clients made a lot of money, and going forward, monthly financials are always useful, no matter how much money you're making. Because it's a struggle to make money, and when you're making money, you want to, it's how much do you keep of the money that you make. You want to minimize your taxes legally, not cheat on them, put yourself at risk. But, and also when I see monthly financials, I can give advice on which way to go for a business. Like, for instance, in a manufacturing company, I've got one client, they turn over the inventory very slowly. So they're over inventoried by about 500,000. So that has to be financed. And if you borrowing money, 500,000 is significant. And like, I got one auto repair client, he's got one receivable that's running around $75,000. I mean, I hope none of you are in that situation, but $75,000 in a receivable could mean that, I mean, what a difference it would make if that money was in the bank. It would make life a lot more comfortable.
Norm, can we call you if we have any questions?
Sure. No, sure. I mean,
You give a free financial.
yeah, if any of you want me to review your financials, your monthly financials, just email them to me. I'll be happy to look at them. It doesn't take long. And it's so important to have these things. It's a boring topic, but it can be very exciting when you're using the numbers to expand. Some of my clients, I had one in today, he runs about a dozen truck stops, and he's just concluded that he doesn't want to end up with an accounting department which would occupy maybe 3,000-4,000 square feet and have maybe 24 people to control who are putting the numbers into the system. He's decided to joint venture with, you've probably heard of it, Pilot truck stops. They run about 1,500 truck stops. And they'll take over the whole admin function. And my client will just collect rent, and it'll make his life a lot easier. So the objective in life is to work less, make more. As we keep saying, work on the business, not in the business. Regarding the truck stops, I've got one client who pays more in taxes than most of you even accomplish in sales. Last year he paid in just over $3 million in taxes. And he's quite happy. He says, I know I made the money, I'm going to pay the taxes. I'm not going to lose sleep and aggravate myself. He just says, I'm blessed. He gives a lot of money to charity, and he works 12 hours a week.
How do we do that?
Well, you got it. Later this year, I'll 3G, and we'll talk about making more money and working less hours. I mean, that's what it's all about. You don't want to work and work and work, and at the end of the month, the year, your life, you say, well, what has happened? Look where I'm at. You want to enjoy friends, family, and your business. Anyway, call me anytime if any of you have any questions. Thank you.
Randy, go for it.
Okay. Does anybody have an experience they want to share during COVID? I'm just checking it out. Tell us how Casper.
Yeah, I got stuck in the house with my wife that I've been married 36 years to. Couldn't get away.
I hope that's a good thing. Okay, good.
Oh, you guys, I'm Randy from Jasper Engines. I gained a lot of friends out of this job. I mean, friends that I do stuff with outside of work, with some of the guys. I enjoy it.
I do get phone calls once in a while, tech question, which I try to tell everybody I'm not a technician, I'm a talktician. But I still get calls once in a while. What have you ran into with this? And if I don't know the answer, I'm gonna call somebody. I'm gonna call one of our associates, one of our members, and get that customer an answer. Help them out. I'm trying on the Inland Empire side right now to increase our count here. See if we can get some more people in here, but for me, I just enjoy being with everybody. I told everybody, people who know me, I'm a total gearhead and I like people. I couldn't pick a better job in my life than this job, and I have a blast. So that's, yes.
What do you do, Randy?
Well, like Burt Reynolds said, have fun. Like Burt Reynolds said, have fun, show off. No, I go into I go into the shops, and my job is to sell drive train.
Oh, I thought you were Gene's chauffeur.
And I'm Gene's chauffeur all the time. And the nice thing is about that, there's so many things to sell, and the guys who are my customers, they know I'm the least pushy salesman ever. You know, I'm out here to have fun. And it's usually if I walk out of a shop and say, okay, I gotta get to work, everybody laughs at me. Because they know how much fun I have doing this job.
Does everybody here know who Randy is and what he does?
That's what we're trying to ask.
Yeah, he's not getting to the point.
My point is, I'm Randy from Jasper, world famous Jasper Engines and Transmissions. And I go into the shops, I'm selling you drivetrain, engine, transmissions, differentials, transfer cases.
But not BMW.
No, sorry?
But not BMW.
Not BMW, yeah. No Europeans, no Mitsubishis, no Hondas, no Kias. I got to speech you down.
Porsches?
No Porsches. That's European. But, and also for us, we also sell diesel fuel components. We bought a company called Diesel USA America about 3 years ago. And that gave us the buying power for diesel shops now. So I go to a shop that does diesel work. I have turbos, injectors, high pressure pumps, cylinder heads for these diesels. And that has really opened up a new area for me the last 3 years. I do the high desert also 1 week out of the month. That's all diesel stuff. I mean, it's amazing how many diesels this year that I've sold. It's insane. And so that's what I do. And I go in there and I'll share what Jasper does different than everybody else. We do have a niche in the market. We re-engineer the wheel. I mean, literally, I tell everybody, I say, without bragging sales, we're the oldest company too and the largest. And we sell $800 million a year of product, and we don't buy pistons from anybody. We manufacture our own. That's how serious we are about updating products.
So we got diesels, Japanese cars, and American cars.
We have Toyota covered and Honda covered pretty good. No Nissan transmissions. Nobody called me for a CVT.
Yeah.
Some Nissan motors, but like I said, for the Toyotas and the Hondas, we do got covered real well. We actually have transmissions that will actually work on for BMWs also. They cross-reference. Some of the ZF transmissions we sell, and even some of the turbos we sell cross-reference to BMWs. Which ones? I don't know. I have not taught myself that yet. Most of the stuff I try to stay way ahead of. So if I'm talking about a transmission or an engine, when I'm talking to you, I typically have gone through everything I can think of and learned about that. Learn about a unit. Now, quick example, it's a Dodge transmission. It's called for us 68 RFE. Your big turbo guys that run all these stuff. Well, I went in to do a presentation at one of my shops, and it's actually Victor who teaches at the college too. Right, Victor Ingram. Yeah. So I was sharing Victor this presentation. He goes, okay, now come on back and I'll school you the right way. So he went back and showed me how they actually built this and go over different things that I didn't know about. So that's my advantage out here, I tell people, is me knowing a lot of the vehicles. And like I said, if I don't know, I'm gonna find out who does.
Knowing the people.
Yep, network with everybody. I get calls constantly. Hi. Joe, it's all you, brother.
All right. It's good to be here. Joe Gomez from Mark Christopher Auto Center. I sell GM parts to quite a few people in this room. My primary goal is to get the parts that you need as soon as possible. I know there's a lot of competition out there for aftermarket parts, but when you need a GM part, or if you need help decoding the VIN number, like for certain production options, you can call me. Generally, what I need is the last 8 digits of their VIN number, and sometimes the first 3, and then I can tell you what shocks you might need, what engine you have, what some difference would be in the transmissions, fluids that you might need. Sometimes I don't have information on all the fluids, but sometimes capacities and different things like that. But if we have one of the largest inventories in the area, if we don't have it, generally I can get it. If I can't, I can at least let you know who has it. We have trucks running from the high desert to the low desert into parts of the valley, our area here. So if you ever need anything or need a question answered or just figure something out, just give me a call. I give you my direct number. If you want to write it down, it's 909-975-3925. And we don't get into too much of the early GM parts, but the late model stuff for sure, all the fast moving things. So any questions?
Joe, I know you go to all the chapters, so I appreciate everything that you do for our association.
It's basically 2 of them, but yeah, I appreciate it. This is my favorite. Don't tell anybody I said that. But I do enjoy going to a couple of the others, you know, but this.
Did anybody think of an experience before we go on to Mitchell? Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you very much.
So I alluded to a little while ago, being a shop owner for almost 40 years gave me the skill sets, being a chapter leader, a state leader, chairman of the foundation, all these things gave me skill sets that ultimately made me prepared, I guess, for lack of a better word, for what happened last year. It was May 14th. It was a Sunday night at 11:30. My California Restaurant Association sent me a text saying, as of 12:01 a.m. on March 15th, your business is now closed. Both of my restaurants, 72 people, all stopped working on Monday morning. It was devastating. Could you imagine being shut down without any income for at least 30 days? And then they decided that we could go back into business, but we could only do takeout. So, you know, if you're doing 150 cars a month, let's say now you're only doing 15. How do you keep things going? How do you pay the bills? How do you know, all of these things? What do you do with your employees? The first thing we thought about was we're going to lay off everybody so they can get in the pipeline to get their unemployment checks first. And so we had to go through the long process of doing that. I talked to Dave Fisher from California Employment Services. He was a tremendous help. The amount of information that came out on Team Talk, talking about everybody, you know, we went right into crisis mode at the shop, because really the shop is what kind of kept the empire going. There was probably 3 or 4 times last year that we were looking to cash everything in and lose everything that we own. But we learned, we adapted. And I like to say that a lot of that adaptation, all of that quick thinking, all of those kinds of things came from my experiences around these tables, in these rooms, and at these meetings. We got through it though. I know a lot of restaurateurs who did not make it, who are not coming back. I know a lot of business owners who did not make it and are not coming back, but we're all here. And that's because we have a collective thought. We all have a right to live mentality. And if a lot of you were on Team Talk, geez, all of the information about PPP and the state regulations and the never-ending health regulations that were coming back and forth. Compared to my restaurant association, ASCCA was right there. And the Restaurant Association has a hell of a lot more money and a lot more people working for them on a professional basis. But the volunteers of ASCCA were right there, giving our members all of the information that they needed to stay in business. I know a lot of conversations went back and forth about how to fill out the PPP loans, what to ask for. All of the different guys in the different counties were offering the guidance for shops to be able to apply for small business grants and all those kinds of things. But it was pretty devastating. But I say, the only reason my restaurants are back in business full at this time is because of the business skill sets I learned in ASCCA.
John Rodriguez, you're the newest member of our chapter, so tell us about who you are, what you do, and how the members can benefit.
I have no idea how they can benefit. No, I'm kidding. I had to get out of the middle. It was freezing in there. Sorry, guys. I was starting to just freeze. John Mitchell won. You guys, everybody always asks me what I do, my friends, family, everybody else. And I just tell them, basically, I work for the Budweiser of the automotive industry. You guys all know who Mitchell is. You either like him or you don't. You've tried them. You have them. I don't know if you know, though, how Mitchell works. We are independent reps. Basically, it's my own business. I get paid when you buy it. I get paid when you keep it. I get paid a little bit when you buy it. I get paid better when you keep it for a year. So, which is really benefits me. I've always been an ancillary business to the automotive repair industry, some way servicing you guys. And I like it because it allows me to come in, help you. And my philosophy is I'm going to come in, help you, and I'll be able to come in and get my oil changed or my body work done or whatever. And come back and see you guys. And Mitchell sets it up that way. So I don't know if you know that. Biggest thing for me I've seen so far at joining is Team Talk is cool. I didn't think, at first I was like, what is this? I was just getting email after email after email. I'm like, I'm kidding. And today I got all wrapped up in that Civic hybrid battery. I'm like, did they figure it out? So it is. It's completely a soap opera. So I like that part. I went to work a little bit out of the automotive industry a couple years ago. I joined Mitchell 4 years ago. Before that, I joined a marketing company that did Mitchell social CRM or Facebook marketing for real estate agents. Realized real quick the difference between a real estate agent and an automotive shop. Real estate agents just tell you what they want to hear. You guys, the part I love about auto shops is you tell it how it is. You don't like it, you don't like it, get out. Okay, I can understand that. I love it, come in, let's talk. There's no BS with you guys, and I think that's my favorite part about working with you guys. Thanks.
So if we have a Mitchell question, can we call you?
Absolutely.
How about a bolt-on question?
He's never going to answer. I'll give you a call back in 10 minutes. Right. No.
So go on Team Talk.
Right.
He's like, use Team Talk and be like, shut up.
How many members are using Team Talk?
Wait, you cannot use it?
No, are
You can opt out of it. You can ignore it.
You opt out of
But it's a lifeline. I saw Gary, your hand up. Did you want to make a comment? Hold on one second.
Yeah, I was at your shop that Monday. Remember? What's that, early morning?
I just had a question for the group. I don't know how many shops we have here. What percentage of the shops did better last year than the year before?
better in 19 than.
No, did better in 20 than they did in 19.
All of us do. Basically, who did better during COVID?
Who did better, during 2020 than they did in 19?
After things got figured out. After PPP.
I mean, for me, and I think for some of the people that I've talked to, end of March and middle of April was horrible. And after that, everything went much better than 2019. And I asked some of the shops that I closely communicate with, they told me almost the same thing that I had. Now, again, I just wanted to know from the other shops, was it like that, or was 2020 worse than 2019? What really happened? I'm just curious to know.
What were the challenges you faced, and how did you use the association with that?
I don't know how many of you guys know Elite or Bob Cooper. I've always loved that man. I stuck to a lot of the things he said. It's in the back of my head. And again, I don't talk to a lot of people from this room, but I do talk to certain people. And then the words that came out of their mouth over the years always is in the back of my head. When my business went, like he said, with the restaurant, his was worse than mine, where my employees said, oh my God, what do we do? Are we going to die? Do we go home? Do we not work? I just froze, and I didn't know what to say, what to do. But I do remember birds of a feather flock together. I've always been with eagles. What would an eagle do in a moment like this in the middle of the desert when there's no food? Well, you know, they're going to find food. Immediately, I noticed that the mask and other things were a problem in my community. Everybody was panicking for masks. Well, I have a pharmacy, friends that own pharmacies. I bought $10,000 worth of masks, provided it to the whole neighborhood. Between Eagle Rock, Highland Park, Glendale, everybody was talking about me. I'm providing masks to the neighbors, to the people. And all of a sudden they would ask me, would you come pick up my car? And all of a sudden I thought, wow, what just happened? You know, everybody's calling me. Oh, what do you do? This is what I do. So it went from, I got horrible to a much better situation because of how I think, and failure is not an option. So just that attitude, which I get from here, from Elite, from those guys, it's always in the back of my head. So we practiced that. We kept putting it out there. And I would go down the team talk, pick some of the shops. I don't even know who they are. I just don't want them to be too close to me. San Diego or San Francisco. And all of a sudden I see what they've done. Oh, they posted something about COVID. You know what? Let me figure something a little different than that for me. I posted that on Yelp or in my demand force or Mitchell CRM that this is what we do, the procedures, how do we do it? So within a week or two, we bounced back because of the connections we have. And then as we're doing it, we're questioning, is it going to work or not? That's when I called Gene, or I call VJ, or I call you, or some other people that I know. And all of a sudden I see that he's on the same page as I am. And going back to what he said, my wife years ago would bug me about getting organized, would bug me about doing this, doing that. And I would tell her, you're wasting my time. I'm making so much money, I don't need this bullshit. But when the COVID hit, when this PPP fund came, within, I think we were probably one of the first people to send out everything. Like you said, everything was ready. And I thought, oh my God, you know, what if it wasn't like that? We were on top of things, everything was working out. And as time went on, as time went on, when other opportunities came up, and I realized that some of the things that I had control over that I was not prepared for and organized, I lost out on those opportunities. Shame on me, because I could have done better if I had organized a little better on my end. Some of the things she doesn't know about that I'm not organized with, we kind of lost out because by the time you make your steps, other shops were panicking and getting out of the business, selling properties. I needed to have the money in the right places. I couldn't jump on it because I was not as organized as I should. So going back to what he said, being organized, the paperwork, I talked to Gene, asked him a question. I don't even know why I call him because I know the answer. I call him, he tells me how I screwed up big time by knowing the answer and not doing it. So then I feel like, should I get off the phone, go back to the drawing board? And again, these are the types of people that I listen to. So again, I didn't get the answer to my question.
I think, can I rephrase your question? You said, how many people are doing better? I saw last year, sales volumes might have gone down, but the profit margins went up.
What was that?
So it gets back to, it's not what you take in that counts, it's what you take out that counts. So some of my clients, less volume in sales, but way higher, maybe 25% more profit last year than the previous.
Less cars.
A lot of different businesses. I'd say overall, sales volumes could have dipped, but the taxable income, the takeout pay increased.
Guys, I see 600 shops. And I can tell you right now, the people in this room are the people that thrived in COVID. The shop owners that were prepared, the shop owners that want to be better than everybody else, which are you guys in this room, you guys did okay. You guys did fine. And I try to tell shops that I go into, when I'm trying to get them to become members, this is why. These are the guys that are going to make your business successful. Because like I said, you guys all in the COVID were all successful for a reason. And this is part of the reason, the networking with everybody.
Gary, kind of answer your question too, as I go around from shop to shop. The shops that you can tell have it together, that look good, you walk up, pull up,
Their bays look clean, their waiting room looks good. You can obviously tell they've got it together. They're packed. They got 20, 30 cars back. I can't take anybody till next week. The guy that looks like in his third bay that he moved his mother-in-law in there, they didn't do well. And I could literally, I'm going to 10, 12 shops a day. You could pull up and know what kind of attitude this guy's gonna have. And it's the ones that have it together like you guys have it here.
So how about the members? I want to hear from the members as well. What challenges did you guys face? And how did you use ASCCA?
Again, the question is, what challenges did you guys face as members? And how did you use ASCCA to overcome those challenges? Anybody else? New members, you're welcome to speak. Dan, I know you didn't have no easy ride in the park, so tell us some of the challenges you faced as a new owner.
So for me, I bought the business February 2020. And Jack said, see ya, and he was gone. No, I'm just kidding. So and then everything kind of shut down in March. So like Gary said, mid-March to April, for me, end of April was hideous. I did kind of the same thing that you did. People were really panicking. Where my shop is right by the subway. So everybody was masked and wipes. And so I went to a company that I know that makes disposable masks. I bought a ton of them. I was passing them out to everybody. I was cleaning everything from cleaning the cars to using the UV light to kill whatever people said it was killing. In May, it kind of started to turn a little bit, but the one big thing that I did, besides sneaking on Team Talk all of the time, monitoring, reading what everyone is doing, is picking up cars became a big deal for me. Most of my customers, probably 50 to 60%, are either in the entertainment business or the service industry of some kind. So a lot of them were out. The rest are all older customers that are very panicked and nervous. So within a month, I was probably picking up at least 7 to 10 cars a day for people, working on them, dropping them off. At the time I could do it, I had the manpower. I have 6 guys. By June, it was already turned around, and I'm fortunate that we have a good customer base. And after that, it was more about me kind of tweaking profit a little bit. Like you said, I had less cars, but I had higher profit. And it kind of just took off. Now I'm booked 3.5 weeks out. So I'm in a good location, and I have a good customer base, and almost all of my business is word of mouth. So I'm just still kind of trying to dig through it. I haven't changed much because it was a little hard to decide what I wanted to change and not. So Team Talk is great. I sneak on that all the time. If I have to make phone calls, I will. I call a bunch of people down in San Diego. John Epstein, I talk to different people. What are you guys doing? What's going on? Jack's really been good, because he's just sitting at home. He can't go anywhere. His plan was to fly off to Canada, and he got stuck.
So you got any uniforms?
I got new uniforms, that's correct. He was not a fan. He did not like them. Yeah. My wife designed it, so. Yeah, he wasn't happy. He actually came back to fill in for me a little bit, and he saw the new uniforms. He goes, well, mine still looks good. So, okay, that's fine. So I had a service advisor that actually worked in the garage since he was 15, went to school with Wendy, and then he came to me. Not with you. Correct, not with you. So, he's been there forever. He's really good, young guy. And he came to me in March and said, I just want to let you know I'm moving. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that's awesome. So I was a little concerned because my workflow is huge and it's very hard for me to do by myself. So I was fortunate enough, I found John. I went through Indeed. I don't know what you guys use to hire, say, a service rider, but I never did it before. So Indeed worked out well for like maybe the first 3 or 4 days, and then it went downhill. I got, Uber drivers and all kinds of people that were looking at the specifications. But so I'm just, John's been with me since April and just trying to stay afloat right now for now. Not trying to change anything crazy. I'm 100% interested in becoming part of a committee and stuff like that. So as soon as my feet are solid, that's where I'll be.
And I gotta say something too. Oh yeah. Well, you kind of inspired me to speak up in the sense that, so I bought Crown City Tire, part of that in 2019. So same kind of thing, went in, guns a-blazing, excited, of course, COVID hits. So a lot of the items we were putting in place had to change. But the change was good though. I had a lot of support from ASCCA members, specifically these two gentlemen right here. You a lot too. Yeah, poor COVID. But really came down to is like, hey, how do I find people? What numbers should we be hitting? Just sharing those ideas really helped out from a new owner. I came from the collision background. Yeah, we work on cars there too, but it's a different breed, it's a different animal. But being part of this committee, having people to call on, even this stuck on that old Porsche for oil change, remember that one? Yeah. Yep. But you got your lifeline, and we got a lot of good topics we went over, guests you brought on, and I can't wait to talk to the gentleman over there regarding training, because these are the things that inspired the ideas. So I'm quiet here, I'm just thinking, I'm just hearing everyone talking. I want to go home, and I'm already going to text my wife, my manager, saying we're having a meeting tomorrow to discuss what we discussed today. And I hope everyone does the same kind of thing in their own little family, because it's great to put on paper or put in your head, but put to play is another thing. Part of that is accountability. And this guy loves to call me up, hold me accountable too. So, it's great to have that. So I would also advise, you get close to someone, get someone to help you out and vice versa in that manner. But yeah, big help to you all listening.
What? Okay. Go ahead. You're a new member. How will you from the ASCCA?
Drinks it. I do have, the only thing I have to say, Norman, the CPA, he's been great. I don't have a full service with him. I did have a good 45 minutes conversation with him. Very detailed, very helpful. And he's very, very informative of everything. So who's not using, who doesn't understand P&L and balance sheet, talk to him. And then he can help you guys drive what the areas that you guys need to improve on and the areas where you guys need collision on. So that's the only thing I have. Norman's been great. For me.
One of the other benefits that I wanted to share with you guys that happened with me, there was a guy that did a clutch job on a car in the Bay Area, and his customer was in my area and the clutch failed. So he calls me, a random phone call, says, look, I'm an ASCCA member, my customer's there with a bad clutch, can you help me? I said, send him down. So he sends me the customer, I work on his car, and I was willing to do it for free, labor-wise, because he's a member. So did the whole clutch, and he called me up and he said, how much are you gonna charge me? And I said, well, let me do the math and I'll call you back. So I figured I'll take whatever hourly rate, times it by maybe 75, 95 bucks, since he's a team member. So I send him a bill. I think it was like $800-900 for the clutch job. This guy sent me $1,500. And I said, why would you send me $1,500? I didn't send you a bill for $1,500. He said, that's how much we charge here to do that job. So then when I had a car stuck in Arizona with the air conditioning compressor that I had installed, I tried to find a shop, again, back, you know what? No, it was either San Diego. I think it was San Diego. I remember calling Gene because I was talking to the service writer, and this guy didn't care who I was. And after I talked to Gene, Gene said, why are you talking to the service writer? Talk to the owner. Tell him who you are. I called the owner and talked to him. He said, oh, you're a team member, whatever? I said, yes. He said, why don't we do this? Forget everything. Call WorldPack, have them send us a compressor. We'll give it back to them under warranty. And you tell me what I should charge for labor. And I thought, oh, wow, how amazing is this? So I got the compressor for free replaced. The labor, I said, you tell me, you just do whatever is fair. He did it, we're done. So sometimes you don't realize we have this benefit also. You know, you have a car that's stuck in a different city, you can't get to it, the customer's upset. You can send to all the team member, you know, somebody from ASCCA, say, hey, we're stuck, can you help me out? And, you know, 9 out of 10, they're gonna stand out there and take care of the business for you, you know? So you guys can use that benefit also.
Guys, I get that phone call a lot. Like Gary's saying, from customers, hey, I have a customer, he's stuck in Oregon, what can I do? And for to help him, get him through this and network with him, all I ask for that customer is, give me an address and a zip code. And I will find you a shop there that can take care of you. And it doesn't matter where they're at, because if it came from your shop and you're one of my customers, he's in Texas, Randy, and something failed. It's going to be handled. That's part of the networking now. So now, if one of your customers is stuck somewhere and doesn't know what to do, you can always give me a call. I'll find a shop that's friendly with our association.
Somebody grab. Thank you. I can think of two instances where ASCCA helped me out during COVID. Number one, actually, Raul, I couldn't locate masks for the life of me. I had some and we had run out and I couldn't find any, and Tim talked to Raul and Raul had a connection. So I actually went down there and bought a couple boxes of masks from Raul, so that came in really handy. Second was PPP. That really, really helped. Everybody knows that Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, none of those banks came through for the small time guys like us. None of them. And everybody was freaking out because we couldn't, I bank with Wells Fargo, so I couldn't get anything in. They weren't taking in any applications. It was all frozen online, and I was getting really frustrated. And I remember Nick Modesti posted on Team Talk about Lendio. And I instantly went on Lendio and I turned in all my information and everything was handled. And I was like, I remember looking at Tim and going, if it wasn't for Team Talk, if it wasn't for ASCCA, I really don't think that we would have gotten through on that first PPP and gotten our application in and gotten the money to help us out to get through that. So that was a huge, huge benefit, in my opinion.
I think the underlying thing we heard tonight is Team Talk. It's a lifeline. So if you're an ASCCA member, that is part of the main artery which helps you survive and grow. So this is where your member dues are going to. So remember that and call up somebody that you know that's a neighboring shop and say, hey, we missed you. The next one is the first Tuesday of every month. And let's pack this room again the way we were. Look at the great feeling we all get getting back together. We didn't even have a theme. This all came from everybody's hearts here. So thank you to our associate vendors, to Norm, Joe, Randy, Shannon, and John from Mitchell One. And thank you to everybody else that took the time to shut down your shop early, come out and encourage me, my wife, and everybody else here. So, as we draw an evening to a conclusion, we kind of need to ask ourselves, what's the next step? So, going back to what I learned from the greater shops, being part of these associations, what do we do next? So I think the homework that we're going to give ourselves, accountability, I think is the key factor that Thomas used, is what can Chapter 5 do to help your shop? Right, Glenn, that's what Glenn's motto is, shops helping shops. What can we do as Chapter 5 to help each other grow, thrive, and be freaking successful? Because there's a lot of money to be made in this industry. You just have to do it right. So ask yourself, what can we do to learn from this, and what can Chapter 5 do to help your shop? And the next time we have an open forum, bring that thought to the table. And remember the people that helped you. Remember the people that answered your phone call. Gene's name came up in almost every single person. I think you give and give and give. And we want to thank you for that, because when I was a young buck that didn't know jack shit, like you once say, you were there to help me. So I appreciate that. Oh, sorry. PG version. So thank you for everybody that pushes forth. Wendy, to all of our trainers, all of the 4 colleges that we have, Rio Honda, Pasadena City College, Citrus College, and ELAC, who's not here today.
Also Baldwin Park.
And Baldwin Park, thank you, 5. I was wrong. Again, I'm married, I'm used to being wrong. So thank you for the educators. Thank you for all the shop owners that really show up. And those that are potential members and new members, kick ass.
One quick question, guys. Everything has gone up in price.
Whether you go to a restaurant or, just a grocery, my wife said that she spends 20%, 30% off when she buys groceries. So what have you guys done? Have you guys increased your labor rates? Have you changed your metrics? That's my question. We did, just recently I did, but I'm just wanting to know whether any of you guys have done that.
How many people raised their prices during COVID? Everybody else, raise your prices.
And nobody questioned it. No one questioned it.
But that's a good point. That's really what brings in revenue.
Everybody has to remember that parts are scarce, parts have gone up. Minimum wage is now $14 an hour. Instead of going to $15 an hour.
You can't hire anybody for $15 an hour anyway. Even the guy who sweeps up, you gotta pay more than that to hire him nowadays.
As any of the business gurus will tell you, sell your service, don't worry about the price. Sell your service. Be better than everybody else.
I have to say that
Like the microphone.
I have to say that most of our mechanics are leaving to become truck drivers. And as I did research on that, I found out if truck driving became a they lowered their standards. Before it was very hard to be a truck driver. Now it's not. We went on a trip over the weekend and me and her bet every 18-wheeler went by, talked in the back. There was a sticker about why you should sign up to be a driver with them. Every truck, not a single one did not go by, didn't have that sticker on there. So I found out, I lost one of my employees for truck driving. He was with me for a long time. They make average $6,000 to $10,000 a month as a new truck driver. Oh, plus signing bonus, I forgot that. So if you're not paying your mechanics, some good rates, what was it, a cook or dishwasher in restaurants? In Igorot, they're opening up new restaurants now, and they're looking for employees, and I see it on Facebook all the time. Dishwasher or a cook prep, $22, $23 an hour. So going back to what VJ said, what is your hourly rate and what are you going to be paying your technicians? This is something to consider because if we don't do the proper pay and the benefits, it's only a matter of time. They're going to be cook prep or they're going to be. Yeah, I agree.
It's not too late. It's not too late.
Gary, let me ask you, what does the industry pay for their technicians?
Going back to Greg, what he said, when we were with the group with Cooper,
labor rates.
what you said earlier about what you want from this group. I like to know.
I like to actually hear, they would talk about specialty shops. That could be the Porsche, the BMW, the Volvo specialty. What's their average RO? How many bays? How many cars per week they do? These were numbers I was always looking forward to hearing to compare myself. I would, like who said that I'm going to go home and talk to my wife, my staff. As soon as I heard those numbers, I would feel, oh, wow, I feel great. I'm within that number. Or I would go to work, change my hourly rate, talk to my staff. I need to bring the numbers up. Each bay should be doing this much, this and that. So I'd like to know that. And Greg asked the question about, we were talking about it earlier. Right now, I think it's a minimum wage times 2 if you require them to have their own tools, which is $30 an hour.
If they bring one tool, it's $30 an hour. It doesn't matter if they bring a screwdriver or.
Can we call this a hot topic meeting? Let's call this an awesome meeting for a hot topic. Hot seat topic. How's that?
Definitely a topic I like to hear about.
And to be honest with you, earlier when Gene was talking about this, I thought some things in my head which I didn't share, and I'll share it with you. Every week, I pay my guys about 5 to maybe 7 hours higher than what they flagged out. The reason I do that is because my fear is I don't want to lose them.
By the way, no flagging out, that's illegal.
Well, I said flagging because that's not what I said, it's a bonus.
Performance pay.
Yeah, performance pay. So I pay higher. I pay higher. Because again, I'm just thinking, for me, what's it gonna be, $200 I'm gonna lose per employee? I'm okay with that, because I just don't wanna deal with getting someone else coming in, dealing with all the training and everything else. Yeah, so going back to what you said, if you're requiring any tools, so far I haven't been in a position where I would have them sign saying, we don't require tools. So I'm still paying the 30 an hour, but I do their hours, what they do, I times that by 35 minimum, it could go up to $40 an hour.
So that's a strong price to what we're paying. That's part of the show.
And again, 1 second.
When right now, I don't, sorry, I don't need any new mechanics because I've lost some, but I'm trying to expand, so I'm trying to bring another mechanic. And every shop, or every parts guy, I ask them, is there someone out there? They say, no, everyone's working, no one's looking for a job. I said, do me a favor. If you see a nice guy and he's a good employee, tell him my benefits and what I offer. I've always put that out because I don't care if they have a job or not. Because I guarantee you, they're not getting benefits, they're not getting whatever.
You gotta catch up.
We gotta go home, but
Real quick. So, real fast. So, yeah, I had Wendy. So, hey guys, just to let you know, my challenge at my school is we're a Toyota sponsor, and if Toyota is offering these guys a lot of money to come work for them, because just like Gary says, you have to pay. So what you're up against is you're up against one of our dealerships. Once a technician finishes our program, no questions asked, 22 an hour, walk into the shop. And you're right, if they got tools, you got to pay them double minimum wage. That's California labor law. But if you if you supply them tools to use, you don't have to pay that. You can still pay less than double minimum wage. There's ways around. But the industry, the dealers are paying a lot of money for these guys. And that's a big challenge that they have. I mean, they come to me and they go, what do you got? I got a list of shops here. I'm sorry, man, I can't get you a tech right now. But they go and they look to see what Toyota offers, and they got the benefits, they got the money. That's what we're up against, and they're ending up at dealerships, and God bless them, but
gotta pay more.
You gotta pay more.
So we do have one thing that with the state, we want to make sure that we keep pricing and what we disclose confidential. Make sure, is it confidential or what do they call it?
Well, you guys want to keep talking, or you want to win some money?
Just give it to some of that.
These guys want to leave. We're actually past our time. Hey, Joseph's gonna spin the wheel, and everybody has their number in there, and he's gonna pick.
All right, we're doing it like we did on Zoom, where rather than our usual shop drawing where you have to be here to win, we decided that whoever's here is a potential winner. So there's 17 dues paying members here. So we've got this randomizer here that's got 17 members. So one of you will have a choice, either $100 dues credit or $50 cash. So here we go. All right, the number is 13. So now I got to count down.
That's too high.
Got to count down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13. Mark Christopher. All right. So you can talk to me afterwards if you want to do straight away. All right.
Show up now.
All right, thank you everybody for being here. Mihari's, as I said, they've changed their hours now. They actually close at 8, but they let us stay a little bit later. So thank you for being here, and keep watching your emails, and we'll see you next month.